What's going on YouTube? Cloverbills here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics in competitive Pokemon overall, and that is optimizing EV spreads. So a lot of you guys in the beginning, all you do is this, okay? You go on to Showdown and you say, here's my Archaludon, let me go 252, 252 and call it a day. Let me jump on ladder and start with this. Sometimes that's actually okay, but if you play the game long enough, you know that this is not optimal anymore. There's certain things I need to account for in terms of optimizing the spread, and that means I need to redistribute these points into my other stats, okay? And I'm gonna show you the template here, and then I'm gonna go through this template and go through 3 examples here with these 3 Pokemon in terms of how to optimize it based on certain criteria. All right, and in the previous video we actually talked about going through EV bumps, and that's going to be a factor here in creating an optimal EV spread. So if you haven't watched this video first, go back one video the day before and watch this one in terms of what are EV bumps and how they work, because it's going to matter when we create optimal spreads in the beginning. Okay, sometimes you have to violate the bump in terms of achieving a speed tier or a defensive calc you want, but at least in the starting point, going for these bumps are a great way to start testing things on ladder. All right, but what is the template here? So first we're going to go for a speed tier where we're trying to outspeed a meta threat. More on that in a second. Then after we've got the speed tier that we want, we need to invest in our damage stat, whether it be attack or special attack if we are a decently offensive mon. Otherwise, after that, we're going to invest into our bulk stats, being, your HP, defense, and SPDEF. And then we'll readjust those things for damage calcs, because once you test things on ladder, you find yourself dying to something very easily, very commonly. So that's where you re-optimize your spread and try and survive that. So this way you can stay on the field and deal your damage, okay? Now, in terms of creating a speed tier, this is what we do first. We pick a common meta threat that we want to outspeed. Why? Because if that thing is super common and that thing is KOing us, how about we try and outspeed that first, okay? Because again, you can do 1,000,000 damage. You can do 1,000,000 damage. You can have 1,000,000 stat in your attack stat, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't get to go first and get KO'd right back, okay? So that means we're going to count for stuff like Tailwind, which means we're going to be doubling our stat. Icy Wind, which means our stat gets multiplied by 1.5, or a reduction in 1.5 if we do it on the opponent, or something like Dragon Dance, for example, where we get to raise our stat by 1.5, okay? If it's a stat drop, it's division. If it's a stat increase, it's multiplication. All right, and then after that, we'll pick an attack stat or a special attack stat that we can invest, and we'll go, after we've achieved this feature, this is where we're gonna go. Now, if you are a support Pokemon, we don't need to do this, right? And then we can just go into step 3 where we're gonna invest in our bulk stats, probably a defensive damage calc. But if we are an offensive threat, then we can just go for those bumps like we talked about as a decent starting point, in the natured stat, and then invest into our bulk stat, which is, stat number 3. Now, usually we can optimize this based on a couple things. So for example, it's all in your HP, right? So if you're holding berry, like a citrus berry, or if you have leftovers, we want to optimize the HP number for that. If Rillaboom's a common Pokemon, we want to account for grassy terrain recovery. So factors of 16 is going to be a play. The same with leftovers, right? So that's why I have these numbers here. 176, 208, 224. These are just easy numbers to hit for HP if you have a Rillaboom on your team, or if you're accounting for going against a Rillaboom, okay? If you have something like a Life Orb, then you end your HP in a 9, right? So this way you can undercut the threshold, which you lose your HP, or, Tyranitar is common again. So you can even optimize for sand chip damage, which is, again, just like grassy terrain and leftovers recovery, but -1. So instead of 176, 208, 224, then we'll go for 175, 207, 223. Stuff like that. These are just easy baseline things to keep in mind when you're trying to optimize an EV stat. And we'll show you this stuff when we get to it with our 3 examples here that we have here ready on Showdown, okay? Then, after that, if it's just leftover bulk, you can just dump 1 point into these stats altogether. And then after that, you've got your EV spread, all right? Now, again, after you've done all of that, you've put your speed tier, you've got your damage stat, you've got your bulk. We can readjust that, for either an offensive calc where we need to pick up a KO on a key threat, or a defensive damage calc where we need to survive a key threat. Okay, so that being said, that's the template. I'm gonna go through 3 examples of going through this template so you understand how it works, and then you can apply the same template for your needs as well. So let's start with Archaludon first. Okay, so what I've done also is I've created this little chart on Google Doc. So this way, as I talk through why I do each stat the way I do them, I'll write them down as well. So this way you get the both ends. So you can hear me verbally speak it, and then we'll also have it down in written form. All right, so Archaludon. Now, in terms of our spreads here, so let's say I have Tailwind on the team coming from Pelipper, right? So what's the common threat that I want to outspeed? Well, I think the fastest dragon running around right now is going to be Dragapult. That's Dragology. So what I want to do is I want to try and outspeed Dragapult first. Okay, and let me just remove Gholdengo stuff off the screen. And what does Dragapult hit? So at max speed, Dragapult is going to hit, let's see, 213, right? So that means what speed outspeeds 213? 214 at minimum. Well, Archaludon unfortunately can't do that. So I'm going to need help from Pelipper Tailwind. So what is 214 divided by 2? 107, right? And I'm almost there. So I just need a little bit. I need this much here investment to outspeed a Dragapult under Tailwind here. So let me do that right here. So outspeeds 107, outspeeds Dragapult under Tailwind. Okay, so that's good enough there. Then what else do I want to do? So I want to also invest in my, a special attacking stat. Let's say, let's go to that first bump here, right? So let's go to 165. 36 investment will get me to that first bump there. If I want to be a little bit more generous, let's go to the second bump here in terms of special attack. Let's go to 176. So 116 investment hits the second bump. Okay, so let's do that. Hits plus 116, hits second bump. Okay, then I have, I'm always going to be going for body press stuff, and I have stamina boost, so that means my stat is being raised by 1 stage. Now I'm going to start investing in my HP and defense. I've got a lot of defense already. I don't need any more, but what I do need to account for is, again, these factors, 1.5, it's an odd number by multiplied by 1.5. I don't want a decimal, so I always want an even number. So if I just do 1 point like this, then if you multiply this by 1.5, it's gonna round down, and I don't want my stat to round down. I always want a solid even number. So let's go here to 152, and then we'll leave it like that. Okay, so this way, after you multiply a +1 stamina boost, then it'll be a nice solid hold number. Okay, so that's good enough there. Then I can max my HP here. Now at this point, this is all I have left, 368 EVs. So let's just dump the rest here, 252, and put the rest here in special defense. I've got an assault vest over here. All right, is this an even number? Yes, it is. So I can always leave it like this, right? But is this where I want to leave the Archaludon in terms of my EV spread? It can be, but then I remembered, oh wait, there's Blood Moon Ursaluna. Is this enough to survive Blood Moon Ursaluna? So let's take a look. Now we go into the damage calc. We go into Archaludon. And we'll just pick a blank set here. Let's go 252, 116. Is it 116? It is 116. So 116, assault vest, and where are you? Yep. And then we'll go into Blood Moon over here. So let's just say the Trick Room Sweeper, right? Let's go 252, Quiet Nature Life Form. Okay, so look at this. Earth Power actually rips through me. So this is not good. This is why we need to optimize this a little bit. I don't want to die to Earth Power 56% of the time. I want to try and survive this. So this is where I start investing in my special defense stat, where now I have to try and live this. So that means I'm probably going to take a little bit away from this special attacking stat, which is, again, at the end of the day, still totally fine. Let's take away 80 EVs. We're getting all these boosts from Electro Shot anyway. So at the very least, if I have the first bump, that's still fine. What about if I have 196? Is this going to help me survive? So let's take a look. So let's put a little bit more. Okay, 196. Is this enough? Yes, it is. Okay, 6.3% chance. That is the roll that I need. If I wanted to guarantee it a little bit more, I would go right here to, 110. 111 investment, right? So now look at this. Now I survived the Earth Power. That's cool. But where is this 204 going to come from? Okay, I have to drop my HP a little bit. Now, that being said, I can re-optimize this just a little bit, so this way I can, achieve this guarantee in essence, right? Otherwise, if you were fine with the 196, then that was still like totally fine. But I also want to account for Rillaboom grassy terrain. So I'm going to drop my HP down to that factor of 16, that, in 192 mark, so this way I can get optimal recovery from the Rillaboom grassy terrain. If I just do 192 divided by 16, that's going to be 12. So that's good. Then I've got these EVs left to play with. I've got 40 more EVs, and hopefully it will be enough. So let's say if I wanted still the even number there at 114, will 212, 228 be enough? So let me drop this a little bit. Let's go to 212, and then let's go to 228. All right, is this enough? All right, and it is. Now I've got the damage calc that I want, right? You see how min-maxing works there with the HP and special defense? Because I'm getting more bulk value out of my special defense stat than I was getting HP. Now I've guaranteed the live, and I still have ADVs left over. So I can do two things. One, I can speed creep and go to 108 because I know other things are going to 107, and speed creep them if they want to try and outspeed Dragapult on their Tailwind. I can do that, and that's it. That's my spread. Or what I can do is say, listen, I'm going for +1 electro shots. It's +1. Again, this is a odd number, 165. Maybe I make this an even number and go to 166. So this way it's a solid whole number after multiplying by 1.5. And then I've achieved the damage calc that I want. So I can do that. And that's okay. And it's really up to you at this point. But for me, a little bit of speed is important. I know Archaludon is a very common threat, and sometimes they'll also be going for 107. So I'll forgive and forgo the special attacking stat, and I'd rather go for the speed. So this way I have a shot at outspeeding some of these other Archaludons that are trying to do the same thing. Okay, but that's it. That is our optimized Archaludon spread. What does it do? It outspeeds Dragapult under Tailwind. In fact, I could even do 108, right? Outspeed Dragapult under 3, and speed creeps other Archaludons doing the same thing, right? Which is 107 for them. And then our special attacks, and now we can delete this. We can go to 36, hits the first bump instead of the second. So you see how I modified that? My HP number, what is it? 212 investment. Optimizes Rillaboom terrain recovery. Okay. Oh, I forgot the special defense investment. Okay, let's just add another row there. Add column below special defense. All right, and then defense, again, just 12 points there for solid even number for +1 stamina boost. Okay, and then the special defense, again, with this 220 investment, 228 allows, with Assault Vest, allows survival from Earth Power Blood Moon. Okay, that's it. That's what I want. So I'm going to go through it. I have my speed tier that I want, which is the Dragapult, and I have my HP and special defense to survive the Blood Moon, and then I have the first bump there in special attack. And then after that, the defense was actually just the leftover. So that's how we do it. That's how we optimize our leftover spread. I just deleted that. But again, you understand how I did that. So let's do another example. Let's do Primarina next. Okay, we've got the same chart ready for Primarina here. So let's go through it. So, one of the things that Primarina has this generation is it has haze. And this is going to be important in terms of removing buffs from that Dondozo. Okay, we don't like the commander buffs. We need to neutralize this. Well, Dondozo's getting Commander Boost, right? So imagine this Adamant Dondozo max speed, right? So 87. So what's 87 times 2? Okay, that's going to be 174. So that means, again, Primarina also has Tailwind support. So with Talonflame, I need to be able to outspeed, Dondozo by 1 point. So this way I can haze it. So obviously if this is hitting 87, then I need to hit 88. Okay, right there. So that's my first speed tier. Okay, 88 outspeed the Dondozo with Tailwind versus Dondozo Commander Boost. So this way I can haze it first before the Dondozo can attack. That's important. Okay, so that's my first speed tier. 60 investment, outspeeds Dondozo Adamant for haze. Okay, right, haze going first. All right, we'll just leave it like that. So we've got our speed tier. That's good. Now we can go Modest Nature, and now we can start investing our special attack set. So look at this. I've got Hyper Voice, all right? You know, this is a typical move set here. And then usually this thing has a Throat Spray, right? So I'm accounting for +1 boost here. So let's go right here. First, let's go the next bump here. Let's go to 176. Okay, so that is going to be 108. So after this, 108. Where's that? 108 hits second bump in stack. Okay, then I'm thinking about a damage calc here. How about Rillaboom, Grassy Glide? Okay, you know, is this enough? Can I do this? Can I go 252 HP, 1 point here, and then the rest go into 84? Is this enough for Rillaboom? Let me take a look. So let's go Primarina. Marina. Okay, yep, there we go. And let's do, what was it? 252, 84. So let's see, 252, 84. Is this enough? It should be, I think. All right, so Rillaboom. We'll just do offensive pivot nuke. Let's go Adamant 252. Okay, Adamant 252 Assault Vest. Is this enough, Grassy? And it is. Okay, so that's good. Wood Hammer, unfortunately, not the same thing. But what if I had Incineroar on the team for Intimidate? That still doesn't matter, right? So at the very least, I've achieved my Grassy Glide here. But you know what? I can kind of cheat a little bit. I can squeeze a little bit more out of this. And let's try and get this to 99 instead. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop this a little bit. Let's go to about, what is it, 50? I can do 52 here. I can do 44. Is 252, 44 enough? So let me see. How can I cheat this a little bit? Okay, right there. So 60 is enough. Yeah, all right. So how about, yeah, 52. So 252, 52 is enough. And then I've got all these EVs left that I can just dump here in special defense. So there we go. I've gotten the calc I needed. After that, the special defense was just simply leftovers, okay? Now, that being said, if I had to optimize for the Rillaboom terrain, is this going to be enough? So I can do this where I can drop this and reinvest more in bulk. I can definitely do that at the same time, but this is something that's very easy in the beginning where, again, I can just max my HP, give me the calc that I need, and then after that, survive the Rillaboom attack. Okay, and then go for the speed tier for Dondozo. Okay, so at the very least, I got the calc, and then after this, the special defense was actually just leftovers. Can I add this more in speed or even special attack? Sure. Okay, but again, you have to you have to know what you're doing for that. Okay, you have to pick another speed tier, or you know, pick another, maybe an offensive damage calc, if you will, and try and calc for that. But at the very least, I have the bare minimum for what I need. I can start testing immediately, and then I can change this a little bit more afterwards if I still find myself dying or not picking a KO into certain things. Okay, but that's it. We've got our Primarina set. So again, if I had to reiterate that, so it's just max HP. All right, max HP bulk, 52 investment with HP, survives Adamant, 252 Grassy Glide. Okay, and then after that, the 36 investment was just leftover bulk. All right, and that is our Primarina set. Okay, so we got our speed tier, we hit our bump in our special attack, we have the defensive damage calc. After that, it was just leftover bulk in the special defense. All right, so that's our second example. All right, last up here, let's look at Gholdengo here. Leftovers idea. All right, so again, speed tier, Dragapult, Shadow Ball, or Dragapult, whatever, you know, Phantom Force, not going to be good for Gholdengo. I want to outspeed that. Let's hit that 107 mark. Gholdengo is often paired with Talonflame, so, you know, might as well account for that. So 20 speed investment is what I need to outspeed the Dragapult. That's good. I won't necessarily do this thing anymore. You know, I think you kind of get the point, but at least I can still talk through it. But here we go. After this, leftovers. Can I optimize the HP here? Yes, I can. So factor of 16. I have a couple benchmarks here. I can go 176, or I can go to the next one and go to 192. I'll leave it here because I like a bulky leftovers Gholdengo set. So after this, where can I reinvest this 252, you know, leftover EVs? Can I just go straight into my attacking stat like this? Maybe. But I remember there's a threat called Tyranitar running around. So what if I wanted to try and survive that? I've got Nasty Plat. I don't think I necessarily need all this special attack. So maybe I can put more in some of this defense to survive Adamant Tyranitar knockoff. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's put Gholdengo on the screen. And let's go blank set here so this way I can wipe it. All right, that doesn't matter. So let's say 236 investments, and let's wipe all this. Okay, let's see it. Let's go Tyranitar. Let's go Adamant 252 Tyranitar. Not a choice band set. They don't run choice band usually. All right, for all you choice band Tyranitars in the chat, let me know your name. Don't run this item. All right, anyway, so 252 Tyranitar. Does it have knockoff? It does. Oh my goodness, that actually just straight up pickups the KO there if I had no investment. You see, this is why you gotta optimize it. Can I live this? Yes, I can. Let's see it. So let's start investing in my defense. Let's try and live the knockoff here. You can see it's quite involved, but it is worth it if I can get the KO that I need. All right, and I can do it right here at 204. Otherwise, I can leave it at the 6.3 calc, but let's just go for the guarantee and let's go to 204 investment. That's a lot, right? So let's do this. 204, a lot of bulk. All right, and then after that, 1 point here and 1 point here. Now, again, I want to be modest nature, so at the end of the day, I'm a little bit short of the bump. So what I can do is still go 196 here and just go to 52. So we'll do that. So is that still going to be? Yeah. And then if anything, you know, if I go to 188, it doesn't change the calc. So I can even do that. So 188, you know, still gives me the same damage roll. And then after this, again, I've hit the bump in special attack. Listen, this last point here, I might as well just go to 108. The same thing for Archaludon. I've done it. I've got my speed tier. I've got my defensive damage calc. I hit my bump. I've got my optimized HP with my leftovers. That's it. This is my starting Gholdengo spread that I can easily use and go straight onto the ladder. Again, but this only works with Talonflame, okay? Because I'm accounting for Tailwind. If there is no Tailwind, this spread is useless. I can't stress that enough. Sometimes you guys like to copy EV spreads from Pikalytics, all right? And, you know, you don't even know what you're copying. And it turns out that spread was for Tailwind, but you have no Tailwind on your team. So I always tell people, be careful with copying from Pikalytics. You have to know what it does. Maybe you need to reverse engineer it a little bit, play a little bit around with the damage calcs, and then you can use that. But don't just go willy-nilly and just copy the spread from Pikalytics if you don't know what it does, okay? You know, try and do something like this where you're creating the optimized EV spread. And again, if you don't know what kind of EV spread you want, just go 252, 252, okay? And then adjust later on, literally, okay? Because at the very least, you know what 252, 252 is getting you, all right? Then you can re-optimize that later after you've done a little bit more testing on the ladder, all right? But that's our Gholdengo set. Again, we've done the Dragapult speed tier. I have the Tyranitar damage calc. I have my leftovers optimization with my HP. The rest is just hitting the first bump in the special attack, which is still okay because I've got Nasty Plot. I can set this up. You know, usually this is always going to be with like an Amoonguss ideally, where I can set up easily, you know, my Nasty Plot idea. All right, but that's it. So again, if I were to go back to the template, you know, just to review it one more time, just so you understand the process of how I created those 3 spreads. All right, so there it is one more time. That's the template. Pick that speed tier, you know, invest in your special attack investment or maybe your attacking stat, and then get me some bulk. But, you know, readjust for some damage calcs like we showed you in the 3 examples. And then after that, the rest is just leftover bulk that you can dump somewhere, whether it be a little bit more speed, a little bit more special defense. Either way, it's just dump at that point if you've got the speed tier that you want and you have the damage calc that you want, okay? Hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully this gives you a little bit more insight as to how to create and optimize spreads in competitive Pokemon. And again, if you want to learn more and if you want me to do more stuff like this, again, one-on-one session, we can show you a little bit more. If you sign up for coaching on the channel with that tier 3 sub, you can book a session with me and we can build you a team going through stuff like this. If you need something for a tournament, if you need something for just simple ladder play, or if you need something for the upcoming Baltimore regionals, we've got you covered. We can help you build a squad that is optimized for the given meta right now. If you look in the video description below, join the channel, click the link, and then you can join with that tier 3 sub. Or you can look in the pinned comment section of the video. Every video has this pinned comment. You can click that same link, join the channel, sign up for tier 3, and then we can get you what you need. All right, you can join the Discord for free. That's always for free. Discord link is always in the video description. At the same time, you can message me for free. And, you know, feel free to ask me, you know, whatever questions that you have. All right. But hopefully this helps you guys. I always like remaking videos like this because, again, every so often I get new subs, I get new followers, and it's all about educating the masses in trying to spread the way we understand Pokemon. All right, that's it for now, folks. We'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.